Like so many of you, there was a period of time where I was worried that I was genuinely brain rotted. And not in a trendy, quirky, relatable kind of way, but more like I couldn't even get through a 20-minute sitcom without reaching for my phone. It was pretty bad at first, but eventually I realized that focus isn't something that any of us are born with. It's a discipline that we have to build slowly over time. And here's how I built mine. It all started during that collective fever dream that we fondly remember as the pandemic, when Dalgona whipped coffee and the Chloe Ting challenge was all the craze. The news was insane, doom scrolling entered our dictionary for the first time, we were all stuck inside, and our attention spans were being shredded in real time. But then, something amazing happened. On July 3rd, 2020, Netflix released this limited series called The Babysitter's Club. It was based on this young teen book series that I used to absolutely devour as a child, about a group of middle school girls who ran a babysitting business. And seeing those familiar characters on screen triggered something deep within my brain, because I remember what it was like to be that girl who spent every lunch break in the library, holding a book, feeling the weight of it in my hands, and absolutely disappearing into its pages. And I just missed that feeling. So I decided then and there that I wanted to be a reader again. I was going to reclaim my brain. And so, with absolutely no idea where to start, I just opened up the New York Times bestseller list, chose something that seemed vaguely interesting, downloaded it, sat on my couch, curled up, and ready to become the world's most voracious reader, which lasted about 10 minutes. I just physically couldn't do it. My brain was screaming at me the entire time for a hit of dopamine. And when I tried to visualize the characters, I got nothing but a blank silhouette, because at this point I needed a casting director to show me how they would look. And the worst part was I couldn't even check my phone at the same time, because as it turns out, Suzanne Collins and Sally Rooney aren't exactly what you would call second screen optimized. That's when I realized reading isn't just a hobby, it's a cognitive endurance sport, and I was seriously out of shape. Luckily, I was taking a psych class at the time that mentioned a fascinating 1999 study where a group of 69 students were split up into two. The first group did nothing, and the second group was tasked with practicing small acts of self-control, things like improving their posture or tracking their food. After 2 weeks, the group that practiced self-control was significantly better at not giving up on difficult tasks compared to the group that did nothing. That means that self-control isn't a personality trait that you're just born with, but rather a muscle that you have to grow slowly over time. So if I could only read for 10 minutes at a time, that's just my current max lift. And in order to increase that, I just have to train. So I started weightlifting my brain, first by setting a timer for 15 minutes and then putting my phone in a different room and basically just forcing myself to sit down and read. Now, around minute 13, the first time I did this, my brain started getting itchy and it wanted some stimulation, but I just pushed through those final 3 minutes and kept practicing first with just the 15-minute timer. Eventually, when I was able to read for 15 minutes comfortably without getting distracted, I changed it to a 20-minute timer, and then 30, and eventually a 40-minute timer. Gradually, the timer disappeared entirely, and I was able to read for an entire hour without stopping. And that's when something shifted. That dormant part of my brain, the one that had been replaced by Subway Surfer clips and cake decorating videos, finally woke up. And I discovered that my creative spark was back. And suddenly, the part of my brain that was always reaching for my phone found itself reaching for stories instead. And I ended up reading 30 books that year. And if you're listening to this and you're getting excited about building a new habit, I want you to know that most people start by jumping straight into the deep end. But you can't marathon your way into a new life because you'll just end up getting burnt out and then right back where you started. So if you want to build discipline in a way that actually sticks, here are 3 ways that can help you do it. Number 1, try using the timer method. Now I know it sounds a little unhinged, but you might have to habituate your brain to the boredom of doing a single task. So if you want to start a reading habit, maybe you can start with just 10 minutes like I did. Or if you want to start regularly working out, if jumping straight into an intense regimen has historically not worked for you, maybe just start with 10 minutes a day of jumping jacks or squats. When the timer goes off, you'll have the option to continue or to stop. It's completely up to you. But more often than not, over time, you will want to keep going. Number 2, and this might sound deceptively simple, but do it for yourself. I can't tell you how many people I know who tried to start building a reading habit by reaching for Charles Dickens or self-improvement or managerial strategy to sound smart instead of the hockey romance or the trashy thriller that they actually wanted to read. It's like if you were eating healthy just to get your doctor off your back. Eventually, once the blood tests come in, you're just gonna inevitably revert back to your old ways. So just know that you can't get addicted to something that you're doing as a chore for someone else. Number 3, measure joy, not volume. Forget about things like the Goodreads challenge, unless you're really enjoying it. The only metric that actually matters is the amount of time that you spent enjoying a story. And it's like that with trying to build a habit out of any creative input. Whether you want to draw more, animate more, or make more YouTube videos, you're much more likely to stick to it if you stay close to the enjoyment rather than the output. Now, there's a really beautiful side effect to all of this. In 2006, Oden and Cheng found that self-regulation tends to have spillover effects. So when people practiced discipline through one consistent habit in a specific area, the effects actually spilled over to other aspects of their life as well. Better studying, healthier eating, more emotional steadiness, you name it. In other words, discipline is contagious in the best kind of way. For me, it started by first learning how to sit still with a book. And eventually, I used that focus to build a journaling habit. And slowly over time, I became regular at the gym. And so it feels like one win kept knocking over into the other win, like this beautiful domino effect. So if you take away anything from this video, I hope you know that no action, no matter how tiny, is inconsequential. And if you're struggling to build a habit right now, you're not brain rotted and you're not undisciplined, you're just out of practice. So start with 10 minutes, and I'll see you at 15.